night 2025 for the election on the 2nd of November 2025, excuse me. Tomorrow night is the advanced polling here at Victoria Hall. As you can see, there are quite a few people here already. Enjoy the show. Okay, we've got 4 minutes. This thing is recording. I'm going to use this chair. Live, yeah. No, because I'm never sure if it's going to work.
You get it after.
Yeah, I should see this down here. Okay, so I can announce broadcast. Hey.
Is there a chair somewhere? Is the sparrow's chair?
Actually, you can always you can lose a few pounds. It's okay. What?
You need a chair.
This is what? It's a tripod. Well done.
And you're planning to stand with all
All these years, no one's provided me an Irish whiskey. I'd be much better if I had.
Why didn't you say something a long time ago?
Because you have intuition.
I never drink Irish whiskey.
Why? What?
I just don't. Doesn't mean that my ancestors did.
So, Ramette, what's you should? Is that going to?
It's going live.
I'm not even going to touch that.
It's on now. Standing.
I'm recording you.
Okay, Beryl.
The signs aren't very big, are they? Man, you know what? These are not very big.
I do.
Bonjour, Westmount. Can everybody hear me? Just rejoin us just in. Depuis de nombreuses années, je siège au conseil d'administration de l'association municipale de Westmount. Je vous souhaite la bienvenue. Je voudrais dire quelques mots. Si vous avez des questions en français, n'hésitez pas à les poser. Et nous sommes unis en tant que communauté. Et nous sommes plus forts lorsque nous sommes ensemble. Je voulais dire ça clairement pour tout le monde. On est très unis ici. Et avec ça, on a beaucoup de pouvoir. My name is Joanna Stosik. I'm on the board for the Westmount Municipal Association. I thought I was going to prompt some French on that one, but anyways. I've been on the board for a while, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank some people. I would like to thank Donna Latch, Assistant Director of the Library, and her team for doing an exceptional job in setting up the venue. A lot of people have been talking about long-term employees here, and I must say we have exceptional people that care and love this place. It's very clear, and I would really like that. Everyone needs to thank people a lot more in this because we're volunteers, and she's exceptional. So, I would also like to thank Nigel Goddard, who is on the board, for his exceptional work that he's always doing. He's very communicative and deserves a lot of respect for what he does. Maureen Kiley. Is Kiley? I only call her Maureen, I apologize. Beryl Wiseman, who's the president, for always showing up, all of us. For all of us, we show up, we do the work. We're 4 people on the board. We met bi-weekly during COVID. We never stopped meeting. I'd like to also thank our mayor, Christina Smith, for her constant support of the WMA, and in particular, her kindness to me. We wish you well in your future endeavors. Beryl Wiseman is our moderator. He is the president of the WMA and the president of the Institute of Public Affairs of Montreal. So I'm introducing him now, and he will guide you through the process. And good luck to all the candidates.
That was it, folks. All the rest is commentary. You can all go home. Thank you, Joanna. Lovely introduction. Let me add my gratitude, my thanks to Nigel and Maureen and to you who've been so exceptional through all these years. And wish the best to Mayor Smith. Where is Christine? She's not here? Okay.
Ottawa.
I know she was in Ottawa yesterday. The format tonight is going to be quite simple, quite cut and dry, but also I can be a little testy when we get to time. So, candidates who speak in order, they pick the number out of a hat. I think it's Mary, Michael, Lynn, right? 5 minutes, they'll just have their opening statements. We'll then go into 4 questions on 4 areas. Number 1, development in the southeast. Number 2, security and protests in Westmount. Number 3, the state of the roads. And number 4, taxes. Both les impôts généraux, les impôts foncières, toutes les choses. 3 minutes pour chaque réponse de chaque candidat sur chaque question. Après ça, c'est complètement ouvert à vous pour toutes vos questions. But, s'il vous plaît, please, make the questions tight and make them a question. Je vais couper le micro s'il y a des discours. Alors, juste des questions. I'm sorry. Now they called from Quebec. I was just going to make one final comment. On the issue of security, there have been many Westmonters who called me in my various capacities, complaining about what's going on in the city with demonstrations. I just wanted to tell everybody that yesterday, finally, after 8 months of work, we served, when I say we, meant Neil Overman and Michael Hollander, and I was very proud that my Institute for Public Affairs could assist. We served the Mayor of Montreal and the City of Montreal for interference with the police department in carrying out their duties and not letting them enforce the law. So for any of you who are bothered by what's going on, or still bothered, feel free to contact me, and I'll tell you how you can help. Parce que c'est pas suffisamment juste d'être ici pour écouter les candidats. Beaucoup de temps, c'est très facile de faire les plans. Ah, c'est les élus. Mais c'est pas les élus. Les élus sont là pour nous, les peuples. Mais nous devrons être des gens engagés. So if you're bothered by something, this is a chance for you to get engaged and involved. And now, without further ado, what? Nigel Goddard is pointing his finger.
To mention something.
What?
Okay, I'll come up.
You want the mic?
Yeah.
Take the mic.
Thank you for coming, everyone. It's great to see all this engagement. I just have been asked a lot of questions about live streaming, and if any of you have friends at home who could not make it tonight, you can inform them that if they have a Facebook account, they can go to the Westmount Municipal Association page on Westmount, and it is live streaming as we speak. Thank you.
Juste une autre chose, one last thing, une dernière chose, les questions sera coupées à 8h45. 20h45, les questions sera coupées for the closing statements for the candidates. Each candidate will have 4 minutes for their closing statement. So 5 minutes opening statement, 3-minute response to each of the questions on the 4 major topics, 4-minute closing statements. And now, I believe Mary Gallery.
Yes.
Your candidates are Mary Gallery, Michael Stern, Lynn Casgrant, and by the draw, Mary, you were first, Michael second, Lynn's third. Mary Gallery, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. It is wonderful to see a full house here tonight. Thank you all for being here today. Mr. Stern and Madame Casgrant, nice to see you. And thank you also to the WMA for hosting this event. You, my fellow Westmounters, have an important decision to make on November 2nd. Tonight, residents should get to know the 3 candidates for mayor to inform their choice. I'm running for mayor because Westmount needs responsible action and thoughtful change. Our city can't afford a mayor who's learning on the job. I am ready, and my experience and my authenticity matter. Neither of my opponents has any experience in municipal government, and before mid-August, I have never seen either of them at a single council or public meeting or community event. Given the critical task at hand, from rebuilding our infrastructure to rejuvenating the Southeast and ensuring the safety of our streets and security of our residents, Westmount needs a mayor who is already engaged, informed, and ready to lead from day one. L'expérience, ce n'est pas qu'une question d'année, c'est une question de présence et d'implication. J'ai passé les 8 dernières années comme conseillère municipale à écouter les résidents, à résoudre des problèmes et à bâtir les relations avec les employés de l'hôtel de ville. Je connais les dossiers, les gens, les contraintes juridiques et logistiques, ainsi que les occasions qui s'offrent à nous. Mon expérience aussi me permet d'aider le nouveau conseil à passer à l'action dès le premier jour. When I was first elected in 2017, Westmount was sitting on an enormous surplus. Hard-earned tax dollars had been collected, but not been invested back into our streets, parks, and facilities. The roof at City Hall was leaking, and the greenhouse had fallen down. I pushed for reinvestment, and we began the work. Roads were repaired, our parks renewed, and maintenance teams expanded. That's what responsible leadership looks like: identifying needs, acting decisively, and committing to results. I am an independent thinker, experienced, pragmatic, and committed to management that builds and not divides. I am not someone who calls for excessive consultation in the name of transparency. Endless analysis yields paralysis, not progress. Westmount needs less paperwork and caution, and more decisive execution. I also don't liken the role of Mayor of Westmount to that of a CEO of a business. Cities are not corporations, and residents are neither customers to be managed or shareholders to be rewarded. They are citizens to be served. The Westmount Independent asked Mr. Stern straightforward questions on issues of importance to all residents, and he refused to respond. Is that the kind of mayor we want? As mayor, I expect to be held fully accountable for Westmount's path forward to modernization and renewal. 5 years from now, I want residents to be able to identify real progress on 5 key metrics. 1, a city with strong foundations where roads and sidewalks are smooth, infrastructure is up to date, and capital projects are completed on time and on budget. 2, a city where residents feel safe, such that demonstrations do not disrupt daily life, and the difficult situation at Cabot Square is addressed through coordination with Montreal and social partners. Families can walk comfortably and seniors feel secure. 3, in the southeast, new housing should complement our heritage, with tree-lined streets, welcoming green spaces, cafes, thriving small businesses. Revitalization should reveal our character, not erase it. 4, green spaces will be healthier, while residents see measurable progress on environment initiatives through a transparent green report card. Trees will be protected, parks maintained, and heritage architecture will continue to shine. Finally, 5, I want residents to see that City Hall has become easier to access. Communication is clearer and more responsive, digital when expedient, and personal when it matters, in a city that operates efficiently but never loses its human touch. Voilà le Westmount que j'envisage, moderne, sécuritaire, durable et connecté. Une communauté fière de son histoire et confiante en son avenir. My promise is simple. I pledge to lead with integrity, listen with respect, and act with purpose. Westmount will remain the best place in Canada to live, a city that protects what we cherish while investing in the next generation. Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank the organizers, WMA, Nigel, Mayoral, and Joanna, and thank you all for being here. The way I see it, Westmount is at a crossroads. We need strong leadership, real experience in finance, management, and people to reverse years of decline to make Westmount once again the envy of all. Right now, too much of our infrastructure is falling apart. Our basic services are slipping. The permitting process is frustrating. Security feels weaker, and transparency too often is missing. Westmount needs a paradigm shift. Le maire, le conseil et nos employés doivent avoir un seul objectif, les résidents. Every day the question should be, what can we do today to make the life better for our Westmount residents? That's real leadership. And the theme of my campaign is listen, lead, and deliver. It starts with listening. If elected, I will meet with all residents, employees, councillors to understand your priorities. Poser des bonnes questions, asking the right questions, that's how we find solutions. Then I'll lead by building consensus, setting clear goals, and working closely with our talented staff. Some improvements can come quickly, others, of course, take time. But we'll act with urgency and determination. And finally, I will deliver with transparency, accountability, and measurable results. I bring 48 years of professional experience. I became a partner at Ernst & Young at 27. I worked my whole life with entrepreneurs, many from right here in Westmount. Later, I served as Chief Financial Officer of 2 high-tech companies and sat on several boards, helping organizations grow responsibly. Je comprends les budgets et la gouvernance. I know how to analyze numbers, manage teams, save costs, and get things done. And I've always believed in continuous improvement, always moving forward. My platform stands on 4 pillars. 1, fix our infrastructure. 2, upgrade and modernize basic services. 3, ensure safety and security. And 4, deliver financial accountability and transparency. If elected, this is what I will do immediately. Restore weekly garbage collection year-round. Fini les sacs qui traînent 2 semaines. We will also continue to educate our residents on composting and recycling to make it even better. I will make City Hall accessible again. Every call will be returned within 2 hours. Every written request will be responded to in 48 hours. More information will be provided when contracts are voted on at monthly council meetings. And I will strengthen public security. We need more visible patrols on foot and on bicycle for safer streets. We will sidewalks faster and look at inadequate lighting, which is a problem. I will order an independent review of all infrastructure to build a real funded master plan. And I will review our finances, I'm good with numbers, compared to other cities to find savings and best practices. I will create an advisory council of Westmount experts, engineers, architects, business leaders to guide key projects. I've already spoken to a number of people who would be happy to work with me and our council for no charge to help us out. And that's just the beginning. I'll also partner with other mayors to share best practices. I will support our merchants on Green, Victoria process, which is really a bone of contention for so many people. We will upgrade parks and sports facilities for young and old, including possible upgrades like an indoor pool, indoor tennis, soccer field improvement, and baseball diamond. And will help rekindle our sense of pride in this extraordinary community and encourage volunteerism. Westmount has lost its way. We must regain our direction and build a city that's even better for our children and grandchildren. We have the talent. We have the resources. Now we need leadership that listens, leads, and delivers. Je suis votre agent de changement positif, ready to bring energy, rigor, and results to City Hall. So I ask you, who would you trust to manage an operating budget of $170 million and a 3-year capital budget of $100 million? With my experience, my passion, and my proven leadership, I'm ready to lead Westmount forward. Faisons-le ensemble. Let's do it together. Thank you.
Good evening. Bonsoir et merci aux organisateurs et à vous tous d'être parmi nous. I'm a lawyer and I was an ombudsman at the MUHC. Excuse me.
Thank you.
Good evening. Bonsoir et merci à tous, à vous tous d'être parmi nous. I'm a lawyer and was an ombudsman at the MUHC for 20 years. I've lived in Westmount for over 40 years and we brought up our children here. We love Westmount, its parks, its streets, its architecture. I'm running for mayor because I love this city and it needs to be improved. It has seen its services decline, the roads and sidewalks are in poor state, and citizen communication with the city appears deficient. In fact, Westmount needs help on many levels. Now, I've not served on city council, but I believe in public service, and I come from a family that has marked the Quebec public sphere. My mother, Claire Kirkland-Casper, was the first woman elected to the National Assembly, minister, and judge. The city of Kirkland is named after my grandfather, Charles Kirkland. I'm a senior partner in a law firm that has defended individuals at every level of government and courts. I know the law and how to operate within the legal framework. I've managed an ombuds office at the MUHC for 20 years. I've been conciliating, negotiating, mediating, agreeing great number of issues, making individual and systemic recommendations, collaborating on improvements, big and small. A mayor's mandate is very similar to what I've been doing for 20 years, dealing with citizens, a council, an administration, laws, bylaws, regulations, bids, contracts. I have extensive legal and mediation skills, which is what the city needs now. Indeed, I've been going door to door to find that many residents are not happy with the recent council. They told me they were not heard, that there was no meaningful consultation on the southeast, no estimate of the infrastructure cost that will be needed for the new construction, of what municipal services will be provided. Is there an interim plan to address the humanitarian crisis on St. Catherine and to clean up the street while awaiting construction of the planned high-rises? An outgoing council should not have adopted a possibly irrevocable law that a great number of citizens do not want. Who was consulted on the construction of streets like Lexington and Claremont, on the garbage collection, on priorities and planning? What about our parks? It is clear that the citizens are not looking for a continuation of the current experience, but are looking for a fresh approach, and that is what I can deliver. My vision for Westmount is based on 3 pillars: responsible governance, better communication, and defense of Westmount's constituents' interests. Westmount needs to consult all its citizens, homeowners and renters, needs to consult its merchants and take advantage of the knowledge and expertise of its population. The present administration has drastically expanded the deficit without any improvement of services that we can see. Spending is not always a bad thing, but it must be reflected in the services. We need to get back to our expected standards. November 2nd, vote Lynn Castrin. Thank you.
Anybody's wondering, I'm not looking at my email as a stopwatch. Okay, let's start with questions. Go from left to right, right to left, left to right, right to left again. 3 minutes to answer. I'm going to pose them very generally. You can answer them any way you want, because all these people are going to pick up on it. So, commençons avec vous, Casca. Tout le monde est en accord. Quelque chose doit faire avec le sud-est. So, yes, sorry. Could I forget?
Good job.
Thank you. Okay. This is good. All right. We'll figure this out. Bon. Thank you.
Tout le monde est en accord que nous devrons faire quelque chose avec le sud-est, le coin de section de St. Catherine et Atwater. Il n'y a pas beaucoup de consensus. What would you like to see happen on St. Catherine and Atwater? Same question to you, Michael, and to you, Mary.
All right, the PPU has been voted by the current council and will live with it. But let's be clear, we all want and we all wanted to revitalize the area. There's no question about that. The Southeast Plan might address the zoning and architectural base of the area, but it does not solve the major issue. We are facing a humanitarian crisis there, and we have an area that has been left to deteriorate over many years. And this is not new. This has not happened in the last 2 or 3 years, but over a number of years. The city now needs to address that area and needs an interim plan. Construction in the area will not start for at least 2, 3, 4 years, even more. Homelessness is not something that Westmount can solve alone, but it must be addressed with the existing stakeholders. I know that both Luc Rabouin and Soraya Fernandez intend to address this homelessness both on the island of Montreal, but also on the edge of Westmount. Let's join them. Westmount needs to collaborate and join the stakeholders so that health, housing, justice, and social services work together. Recalibrating that area, treating all people with respect, and responding to their basic needs is not a challenge that council and the city can meet alone, but we can and must leverage funding from the Quebec and Canadian government. We need a concerted approach. We also need to look at cleaning up the city once we've addressed cleaning up that streets once we've addressed the homelessness and once we've cleaned the place. So we need to have street furniture. We could have food trucks over there. We could have pop-ups. In the meantime, while we are waiting for the rest of the PPU to be implemented. On the other hand, we have streets or lots owned by Westmount on Tupper and Dorchester that could also be developed and that could encourage affordable housing to bring families back into the area. Building on these lots, implementing the community vision will be a trigger and a motor for future development in the area. Waiting until developers build on St. Catherine Street is not proactive. They will come when there is a demand, but there doesn't seem to be one now. Dans le devoir cette semaine, Sonia Bélanger parle de rénovation du parc immobilier existant. Elle annonce aussi des fonds qui seront disponibles en mars 2026, ainsi que de nouveaux incitatifs financiers pour encourager la rénovation. Elle parle de bâtir ces logements vacants. Les villes possèdent maintenant ces leviers financiers pour imposer une taxe supplémentaire sur la valeur foncière des logements vacants. Une taxe qui pourrait en outre encourager la rénovation. Il ne faut donc pas sous-estimer la rénovation. But there's immediate actions the city can take, and cities that are brightly lit and lively will feel safer for everyone on St. Catherine Street.
Thank you, Liv.
Yes, so the zoning was passed. It might have been a little bit rushed and there was additional information that could have been taken, but at least it's passed. It did not make economic sense for it to be zoned 8 stories high, and the proof is that there are 5 property owners that own properties there and they haven't built anything because it obviously doesn't make economic sense. Now that it's passed, this could be something great for us. If we're smart and if we play our cards right, we're going to have a new development there, and these will be taxpayers for housing and for retail, and that will provide much needed increased tax dollars for the city, money that could be used for infrastructure. But we have to play our cards right. So immediately upon taking office, I would do a few things. First of all, I would look at the fact that there were a lot of unhappy people and all the comments that they had. I would review some of them to see that if there's anything there that could be taken into account. We have to look at the infrastructure to see what we need in terms of water and electricity, if we need anything. And the most important thing I think that should be done now is before developers come forward, we should know what we want. I would get the greatest minds together. There's a lot of very smart architects, engineers, and business people, real estate people who are residents of Westmount. I would get them together and let's look at what we want. What do we want in terms of parking space, green spaces? What do we want any buildings to look like? We don't want them to look like Griffintown or downtown. We want them to have a unique Westmount character. What other things do we want there? Is it possible to have an indoor pool? Would that be a good idea to have an indoor pool for everybody's benefit? Whatever it is, we have to look at it and determine what we want as soon as possible with our great minds and advisors and our employees, so that when builders come forward, we're able to incentivize them to build, and at the same time we request that they do things that we want and the way we want it. So I think that's super important. In terms of cleaning up, anybody that comes forward cannot build today. It's going to take a couple of years. So we have to clean up the area to make it safe, to make it look a lot better. There's a lot of things that could be done, whether it's murals or proper fencing that would look much better. And we have to look after the homeless as best we can. I've reached out to David Chapman, who runs a resilience shelter not far away, to see what can be done. And I've discussed the issue of homelessness with Jennifer Macaron and with Soroya, who hopefully will become mayor of Montreal. And it's an issue far beyond Westmount's capability to deal on our own. So this could be a great thing if we play our cards right. It could be a new tax base for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Mary Bell.
Thank you. So for 50 years, councils before us have tried to solve this problem. There's been continued deterioration on St. Catherine and Atwater for decades. And then when the Children's Hospital left and the Forum closed, it got worse and worse, and it's worse. It is a terrible situation. When I was elected in 2017, the Agile report had made recommendations to do the necessary zoning change to revitalize the sector. It didn't pass, it failed. Our council brought it to life again in 2023, and we spent the last 2 years working on the PPU, the Projet Particulier Urbain, special planning project, where we spent 2 years consulting all the stakeholders in the city, all of you, the southeast sector, the owners of the property, the rest of the residents who want to see the street revitalized. It is not safe. I know people who live in the area, their children are afraid to go and walk to the Metro or go to into Alexis Neon. Seniors don't want to walk over there. It is unacceptable. So I'm very proud to say that our council passed the PPU. This is a framework. We changed the zoning. It was essentially a zoning change. So we now have the heights that will hopefully attract responsible development to our sector, revitalize the sector. It is urgent. We cannot wait 1 more minute. And yes, of course, it goes hand in hand with the safety of the area. Once revitalization starts and we see new buildings and shops, guess what? The crime will go down, homeless will go away or less. And yes, we will work with partners to alleviate that, and resilience will move down the hill. We have to move. So this is the entrance to our city, Atwater and Dorchester to St. Catherine. This matters. We must move forward, and the next council, when I'm there, will be able to manage the next stage. This is just the beginning. We'll be able to onboard great projects. We will have control. And by the way, we have a planning advisory committee made up of residents of talented architects. We have those people in place. So we have the checks and balances to integrate new buildings with the heritage, and I look forward to seeing what comes next to revitalize this sector. And additionally, we're an aging, shrinking population. This is the only sector of our city where we can build, and we need new sources of revenue, and we need new people to keep our commercial sectors vital. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mary. The second question will go from Mary, Michael, and then Lynn. For 2 years, the area around Wood and St. Catherine has seen demonstrations almost on a weekly basis. Some with brutal language, all of them disturbing the peace in terms of the sheer loudness of the yelling and the screaming in the densest part of Westmount. Les résidents de numéro 1 de chez Westmount Square, de Château Westmount Square, ils ont peur de quitter. Ils ne peuvent pas même avoir accès à leur garage de temps en temps. What would you do about it?
Thank you, Vero. So I'm well aware that the protests have had an enormously difficult impact on our entire community, and in particular, the Jewish community. And those who live in the sector have had to endure 2 years of constant disruption, intimidation, harassment, and it should not happen on our streets in Westmount, in Canada, ever. So I just want you to know, as your mayor, I will protect all of you. I will advocate on behalf of the Jewish community, because I believe this has gone on too long and has impacted in such a negative way our entire community. I have written an extensive summary of what I would do in Westmount Independent a couple of weeks ago that will elaborate on what I would do as mayor going forward. So, 1, I will advocate with the new mayor of Montreal, because I believe he or she, we will partner together and we will treat this as a priority. 2, I will ensure a direct coordination with the police of Montreal, as overseen by Montreal, with our public security. We work together and we can do more. I also believe in having the police enforce the existing laws. They have not done enough. I'll also work with the other mayors of Montreal because there's a financial cost to this, not just to our sector, to everybody. We are all, as taxpayers on the island of Montreal, paying the overtime of the police. This impacts us all. It also impacts our small business, and that's not okay. We know it's been super hard after the pandemic, and we do not need additional stress in that area. It has been difficult enough. And two more, I would absolutely insist on requiring a permit and work with the other levels of government, provincial and federal, to change these laws. No one should come as regularly onto our territory and disturb the peace. I believe in supporting a ban on face coverings, and I definitely, as your mayor, will keep you informed. I think you need to know what I'm doing, when, and what the results of that action is, because it is necessary. Thank you.
Thank you. Michael? Sir?
Yes. So with regards to the protesters, this is a situation which is very difficult. We have free speech, that is correct, and people have the right to protest. However, they've gone far beyond that. We have to create a space that's safe for everybody. So the level of protests and some of their behavior is not to be tolerated. There are places in Montreal, Canada, everywhere in the world where sort of bad behavior is tolerated, and there's places where it's not. I'm determined to do something about it because this bad behavior is not to be done. There's bad behavior at McGill, there's bad behavior at Concordia, not so much at the University of Calgary. So here, there's all kinds of things to protect us. Westmount has bylaws from 2012, 13, 14, specific bylaws that say you're not allowed to make noise, you're not allowed to bother pedestrians, you're not allowed to spit, you're not allowed to write graffiti, you're not allowed to blow horns, and on and on and on. And if you do so, the city can give you a fine of $1,000 first occurrence, $2,000 second, $3,000 the third. But this is not being upheld and it's not being taken care of. In addition, the Canadian Criminal Code, Section 63, says that it is unlawful to assemble if it is done so with a purpose in a way that causes fear in others. Again, this is not being addressed. So the current administration, we rely in part on the City of Montreal, and the City of Montreal has taken the opinion that to tell the police to be hands off. So hopefully things will change. There will be a new mayor in the City of Montreal, and as I mentioned, I have discussed this with Soroya, and she's the leading candidate. I haven't spoken to the others, and I made a point of discussing this at length, and she's very understanding. I told her that the police have to take their direction from the mayor, and the mayor has to provide guidance and leadership, and she agreed with me wholeheartedly. In addition, there are other things that the city could do. I'm glad to hear that a writ of mandamus was filed. That's a good thing. There are also bylaws to protect religious institutions, which could be set up, and there's a religious institution nearby. And I was even told by lawyers that the mayor can appoint special constables who are armed. So there's a lot of things to be done if we're determined to do something about it, and I'm determined to do something about it. In other words, allow protesters if they want, but they have to behave completely differently. They cannot disturb the peace, and they cannot disturb people. They cannot disturb businesses. We all have the right to live in peace, to enjoy our homes, to enjoy our businesses, to walk freely in the street and not be frightened. And I'm determined to do something about it, and I will.
Thank you.
So I agree with my opponents that we need to do something and that we need to have safety for all Westmount citizens. The calls for enforcement of municipal bylaws against trespass and the criminal code provisions have to be pursued with the new Montreal mayor, as Michael mentioned, whether it's Luc Ravoin or Soraya, who is now leading. The present laws against unlawful assembly, hate speech, mischief, disruption of religious worship, and intimidation of worshippers and citizens must be enforced. There's no question. Review of municipal legislation, if possible for Westmount to address the size and noise level, for example, also must be pursued. We need to seek best practices on improving neighborhood watch. We need to review the city's communication processes, to provide advance warning of demonstrations whenever possible. We need to reconcile both the rights to freedom of expression, we all agree, and the imperative right to security in Westmount for all our residents. Westmounters can express all points of view and are also entitled to safety. I will meet with the Minister of Public Safety in Quebec to ensure that these rights are respected. I will actually join, as possible, the Agglomeration Committee on Public Security and Safety as well. So I will finally also contact the Police Chief Fadi to look at the application of the laws that we need to apply, considering trespass, criminal code provisions, and to be pursued by all of us at all levels. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me flip the last few questions around because Lynn mentioned the AGLO, and that's the tax issue. Every demerged city has the same problem with the AGLO. 50% of our money goes there. The mayor of the city has a veto on budgets. Il y a seulement une maire des villes défusionnées, George Burrell de Beaconsfield, qui a fait une action, qui a fait une poursuite contre l'AGLO pour 22 millions de dollars. Would you consider such an action against the AGLO? Would you consider any action against the AGLO on the question of taxes and the problem of the quote-part agreement never being finalized? And we'll start with Lynn, Michael, and Mary.
Well, this is quite a question. Before I would start a lawsuit, I would like to speak to the other the other mayors who have demerged mayors who have a problem with the AGLO. And I would also look at the other cities that are part of other agglomerations and see what can be done and how we can help each other. But certainly, we need to review as much as is possible what we are getting for our money. So if we're giving more than 50% to the City of Montreal for those services, then are we getting our due? And I'm not sure we are. It certainly doesn't feel like it. Now, that lawsuit could not be done in a vacuum. So I would think that we need to get together with the other, and that would be what I would do. I would negotiate, conciliate, and mediate with the city, but with the other demerged cities in order to see what we can do together, because we're much stronger together.
Thank you. Michael?
Yes, so the first thing I would do, this is our biggest expense, by the way. We have a $170 million budget, of which 30 million is for hydro, basically, so it's 140. Of the 140, 70 million gets paid to the City of Montreal in exchange for 4 services: police, fire, bus, and metro. So the first thing is that contract has to be looked at very carefully to see what can be done. And it's interesting that the City of Beaconsfield is suing the City of Montreal for $20 million, alleging that the formula is such that they're being overcharged in this cost-sharing formula for services. So as the first thing I would do, I would look at the contract very carefully, myself and with our lawyers, and reach out to the City of Beaconsfield and then to other cities to see what they have done. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Mary?
The AGLO structure is very complex. There are 15 city members that play a part in it. This is a legal binding document that is how the City of Montreal operates and all the demerged cities. So I basically think you can't do anything alone. We're a small city of 20,000 people, so absolutely it is worth looking at. but you'd have to look at it with the other demerged mayors and see how much it's going to cost to fight the change, how long it will take, and if those are resources well used. And in the meantime, for the 53% of our dollars that go to Montreal, we absolutely have to demand more service than what we're getting. We need to upgrade bus stops, get more police presence for the protests, for safety around schools. There's a lot more we can do. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And the last of the four issues before we turn it over to the audience. You've all talked about infrastructure, that's important, but the first infrastructure qui frappe tous les citoyens et citoyennes, c'est les routes. Any plans to get the roads in somewhat better shape? Mayor Michael.
Roads. The number one item of this campaign. I hear you. I drive the same roads. I walk the same sidewalks. I know. And our council has done the most infrastructure work ever in history, but there is more to do. I'd like to take a moment and let you know how we got here. When I joined council in 2017, our administration inherited a massive fiscal surplus alongside an even larger deferred maintenance debt. That tax revenue should have gone into our infrastructure. Instead, apart from the WRC in 2013, it sat in the bank. The bill for that neglect has now come due. We all see it every single day. The pay-as-you-go model, funding infrastructure exclusively from current revenue instead of using long-term debt, was particularly flawed in an environment such as the one from 2006 to 2014, when interest rates were at very low levels. No single cohort of taxpayers and no single year of tax revenue should be spent exclusively on assets with a useful life of several decades. So this is the important background to understand why we have to borrow and why we're in this massive infrastructure debt. So we've talked about the money that goes to Montreal. 53% goes to Montreal. We have 27% roughly for the operations of the city. We have 20% left to do the urgent work throughout our territory. Yes, the roads are important. So are the sewers and the sidewalks and our 26 municipal buildings and our tree canopy and our 13 parks. We have, and the lanes and the public stairs. I could go on. So with that small amount of money, we fight to get as much infrastructure improvement as we can every single day.
Thank you, Mary. Michael.
Yes, the roads are a big issue. They're really in horrible shape. And it's strange, I compare it to the town of TMR, which has a similar number of people to us and has about 90% of the tax revenue that we have, and the roads are in great shape. So they find the money somehow to fix their roads, and ours are in horrible, horrible shape. We have 51 kilometers of roads, which means probably 100 kilometers of sidewalks. And asphalt normally, if done properly, lasts 17 years. That means every year you have to do 3 kilometers. So we obviously have fallen behind. So how do we start? What do we do? So the first thing you need to do is develop a master plan, because you can't do everything at once. But to do the master plan, you have to have a status report, an asset management report, and it can be called different things. It's basically a thorough analysis of the status of all our infrastructure.
We have one.
You have one. I met with the mayor 2 weeks ago. She told me she has it, because I asked, and it's not complete, it has to be updated. It's sort of complete, not complete. Anyway, it has to be completed on day one, and then based on that you make a master plan in order to determine priorities, because everything cannot be built at once. Now, I also differentiate between repairs and replacement. So I said 17 lifespan, so every 17 years the road should be replaced. However, that 17-year lifespan depends on proper maintenance, which is an ongoing thing. Where for some reason we don't do any maintenance. It's nobody's fault. We live on a rock. It's hot, it's cold, freezes, thaws, whatever it is, and the road's cracked. There's millions of cracks. These cracks can be sealed by our maintenance people, and that's what should be done. Because if you don't seal it, water gets in, and the theoretical 17-year lifespan is not 17 years anymore. So that's what I would do. Make sure you have an assessment of everything, then you do a proper master plan, and then you figure out how to finance it over a reasonable period of time. Now, in terms of maintenance, there's other things. I talk about the cracks. The sidewalks are horrible. In the time, like, we cannot replace everything at the same time. But until we replace it, we should be safe. There are holes on the sidewalks that are unbelievable. There's a pothole. A guy wound up in a hospital on a bike on Sherbrooke. On Green Avenue, which is your district, the sidewalks, you could lose yourself. And a friend of mine, a young guy, broke his foot there. And he has good eyesight. He's a young guy. So really, we need to do a lot more maintenance. It's extremely important. The potholes also, and the potholes, we use old technology. The black asphalt, you've seen it, pops up in 2 minutes. There's a much better technology. I was approached on behalf of a client to invest 2 years ago. It's great technology invested in Montreal, where it looks like the same black asphalt. It's a wet mix, and it's a permanent seal. It's used by Quebec Transport for highways, used by City of Montreal, but we don't use it. And there's another thing that can save us money. We spend 50% more when we fix the roads. We probably, according to an expert who told me, it's ridiculous what we do. If you drive on Sherbrooke towards Atwater, you leave Westmount, and before Atwater you hit Montreal. Our roads are like this, and you hit Montreal, it's perfectly smooth. The city of Westmount tells me that Montreal doesn't do a good job. But an expert told me Montreal does a great job at a third less. And what they do is, they do what's necessary. It's 24 inches of crushed rock, followed by 4 inches of asphalt and 1 inch top coat. So new technologies has to be looked at. We have to do the maintenance to make sure we can live here without getting hurt, while we upgrade and replace as necessary.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
So roads and sidewalks are in a dreadful state is very easy to see. But our parks are also suffering, and many of municipal buildings are neglected and in a state of disrepair. So much work is needed to get Westmount back to the standards, but work needs to be prioritized. And as Michael mentioned, we need a municipal assets management plan. There is one, but it's not complete. Do you know that there is a centre de recherche, d'études et de recherche en infrastructure urbaine from the Quebec government that gives you tools to complete your assessment of your assets, and not just your municipal assets, but also your services. There's also many tools available by the federal government as well. In Ontario, they have a law where they have an obligation. Every city has an obligation to have a municipal assessment plan. And those plans assess not just your assets, but they also evaluate your services. Now, Michael was talking about sealing cracks in our sidewalks and in our roads. Well, there used to be a time when Westmount used to seal those cracks with tar, and this was what permitted the streets to last longer, so that they wouldn't have to be repaired and cracked and all of that forever. So I believe we need to have a proper, complete municipal asset management plan. Un plan quinquennal ou un plan de 4 ans, mais un plan complet. Merci.
Merci, Lynn. Félicitations les candidats. You're only 7 minutes for overtime. That's the best in all the years we've been doing this. Give them a hand. Okay, folks. 2 microphones. I'm not going to be nice with anybody. So this little stopwatch here, you've got to ask your question within 30 seconds. And all of you have to answer each question within 90 seconds. And at 8:45, candidates are going to make their closing 4-minute remarks. Please identify yourselves and which district you live in.
So, I'm Alyssa Yuffie, and I live up near Surrey Gardens. I don't remember, is it District 2, perhaps? But anyways, one, thank you. Okay. So, Mary, my question is for you. Good evening. You speak about the fact that you're the only mayoral candidate with experience on council. Your district, District 6, as we heard this evening, has been the site of massive protests for the past 2 years. In your article in the Westmount Independent, and here this evening as well, you speak about measures you propose to take to ensure the safety of the residents in your current district. If there has been measures which could have been taken at any time over the last 2 years, why haven't you taken them?
Thank you, Lisa. Mary?
Well, number one, I wasn't the mayor. Number two, I was part of a council who took this very, very seriously, and I can assure you our mayor did everything in her powers that she could. I'd like to remind all our residents that our public security have no jurisdiction over the right to protest or interfere with the protesters ever. They are not trained and they're not equipped. So Mayor Smith has worked actively with the other levels of government, and I believe that's why different laws are moving forward. And she has not stood still. She's made sure that they were safe. I met with the commandant myself, the chief of police here in Westmount, above Selwyn House, and she has told me they're there every day. They're in civilian clothes, they're in uniform, and they are keeping people safe and ensuring that they are calm. And would I like to see more intervention from the police? Absolutely. But I also think those directions come from the mayor of Montreal. So our powers at the city of Westmount are very limited. And I'm sorry to say.
Thank you, Mary. Name and district, please.
My name is Paula Samuel, and I think I'm District 6. Mary was where Green Avenue is. I think it's great, District 6. I have the same question. I've been a Westmount resident for 25 years. I'm a member of the Jewish community. I'm absolutely appalled that I've spent 2 years listening to Kill the Jews on my back doorstep. Each one of you have said, we're going to talk to the police, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, but we know that it's the Montreal mayor that can tell the police not to do anything. So I want each one of you to please explain that if the mayor is not Soraya, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Because my boys walk down Green Avenue with the Magen David and they yell baby killer in their faces.
Thank you, Paula. Okay, that question's all of you. So we'll each have 90 seconds, and she started at District 6. Back to you, Mary.
I agree with you. It is totally unacceptable. So I pledge to work with whichever mayor is elected and make sure that the laws are enforced. I do believe the writ of mandamus has been served to the city, and that will enforce the police officers to protect us all and enforce the laws. They are not being enforced the way they should be, and no one should feel unsafe on our streets ever.
Thank you, Mary. Michael?
I mentioned a number of things that I will do. I'm extremely disturbed by what's going on, and I'm determined to do something about it. In addition to what I said before, and I did highlight this, that I've been told that the mayor has the right to hire additional constables under our control. And the other thing is with regards to the city of Montreal, and you hope it never gets to that, but if it had to, I would go that route. We pay, as you heard, 50% of our money to the city of Montreal in exchange for police services and others. If they're not providing services, police services adequate to protect our people, I would take legal action to withhold some of the money and hire our own public security line the street of 100 public security.
Thanks, Michael. Lynn?
Saying kill the Jews is actually unlawful speech and cannot be tolerated. I agree with you. It is absolutely, absolutely horrendous. Now, the real question is, again, we need to speak. If we don't have Soraya there, I will be happy to speak to Luc Rabouin, and I will impress upon him the essence of safety in all of our city for all of our citizens. We need to ensure that the police of Montreal applies the law. I would also speak to Fadi, who is the police chief. Thank you.
I'm sorry, can I just do a follow-up? Ms.
No.
Kazran, does your law firm defended the encounter?
We need to keep control. Everyone has really important questions. Please be respectful of your neighbors. Thank you.
Our law firm, I have to answer this, I'm sorry. Our law firm did not defend people who cried, kill the Jews. Our law firm defended people who were called Palestinians and Jews United and Independent Jewish Voices. Our law firm also defended the Kirpan. Our law firm defended the Sukkot all the way to the Supreme Court and the Eruv. So that's human rights. That's what our law firm did.
Since this seems to be, and it is a critical issue, I've got a question that just requires a yes or no, nothing more. And I will just get back. If one of you is mayor, as mayor, would you intervene in the mandamus suit against the city? Just yes or no. In the writ of mandamus that's been served in the city. Because you've all said, and rightly so, que c'est pas la ville de Westmount qui contrôle la police, c'est le ville centrale. Le chef d'Agler était proche ami, j'ai parlé avec lui beaucoup des fois. Et tout le temps, chaque policier, all the senior ones, particularly, say, get a judgment. So would any one of you as mayor be an intervenant in this suit? Yes or no?
I'm not sure what lawsuit you're talking about.
Well, yesterday, I said at the beginning, plaintiffs, including from Westmount, presented a requête de mandamus contre la ville et la mairesse. Would the city of Westmount just be an intervenant?
The writ of mandate is to force the city police to do their job and defend us. Is that what you're saying? And you're asking us if we would intervene.
I can't teach you law right now, Mike, about mandamus. What the suit asked for is an order from Superior Court that the police be let alone to do their job.
Yes,
Well,
okay.
of course, yes.
Yes.
My question is, just yes,
Yes
or
or
no?
no, yes.
Would the city of Westmount be an intervenant? Not a plaintiff, intervenant.
Yes.
Support it. Done. Yes, sir. Name and district.
Oui, Richard Stroh, District 3. La question s'adresse à M. Stern. J'aimerais connaître votre position sur des questions environnementales. Plus précisément, avez-vous consulté le rapport rédigé par le Comité consultatif pour l'environnement et le développement durable, qui était remis il y a quelques mois? Et si vous êtes élu maire, quelle initiative concrète comptez-vous mettre en œuvre pour répondre aux enjeux soulevés dans ce rapport?
Concernant sustainability, il y avait un rapport de la ville de Westmount daté le 8 septembre. Je l'ai lu. Il y a beaucoup de recommandations qui sont vraiment intéressantes. Une des choses les plus importantes, c'est pour avoir du succès, il suggère d'avoir quelqu'un en charge. Alors, je suis d'accord avec ça. Pour avoir des résultats positifs, il faut absolument avoir quelqu'un en charge de ce domaine. Est-ce qu'il faut engager quelqu'un de nouveau ou est-ce qu'il y a parmi nos 350 employés quelqu'un qui peut prendre charge avec ça, avec un de nos counselors?
C'est la seule initiative.
Yes,
Juste pour clarifier, c'est la seule initiative que vous avez prise.
Nous n'avons pas de temps pour les questions supplémentaires. Je m'excuse. Regarde.
Pour préciser, c'est tout.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hi, thank you. Ken Mayoral, District 4. My question is for Lynn Casgrain. In your recent Westmount Independent advertisement, you wrote, and it's a popular subject now, about how the protests outside Westmount Square are unacceptable. You did defend the unlawful encampments at McGill, which many people which have come to Westmount and made very, very incendiary statements like it's a Palestinian protest area and they're going to round up the Jews and give them to the Palestinians.
Mr. Burrell, the question has to be 30 seconds. You're really ready.
How can you be trusted to stop this from happening when you're defending the people doing it?
I'm not defending. We do not defend people who break the law. We do not defend people who say, kill the Jews. We do not defend that. That is undefendable. That's what it is. But freedom of expression is a right that exists, and that must also be protected. This is a right for everyone in this room to speak. We need to defend freedom of expression. Please, everybody,
on. We got a lot of people asking questions. Thank you.
Yes, name and district.
Hi, Rosalind Davis, District 4. I'd like to change the topic. Westmount has an aging population. We have 2 beautiful state-of-the-art skating rinks. I think Westmount needs an indoor pool. We have land, the city owns land on Tupper that it could use for the pool. You could also put in a gym. The city does not own its own gym. It has to use high school gyms. It has to rent to provide a lot of opportunities for youth and seniors. We could use land on Tupper. We could also involve 2 levels of government to get support and funding for this. We could put a seniors residence on top. What is your position? I'd like to hear from all 3 candidates, please.
Let's start with Lynn, then Michael, then Mary.
All right, for the pool, so yes, everybody is in favor of a pool, and I would love to be able to say, yes, we were going to have a pool. But this has to be done in collaboration with other organizations, because the maintenance of a pool is a very expensive cost, and that has to be done and borne with another organization if we can find. Unfortunately, right now, Dawson, Concordia, Marinopolis, all the institutions that could help us maintain a pool, set up and maintain a pool, are in a terrible financial situation because of this present government. But yes, it would be lovely to have a pool. Can we do it? Can we afford it? We'd have to see what the finances are and what the maintenance cost is, because their yearly cost is really high. Yes, can we have a gym? That, again, would be lovely. Can we collaborate with other institutions? Can we also listen to Westmounters who may have solutions for us? Yes, that's what I would like to do. Let's create a committee for that kind of important municipal service that we are clearly not providing at this point. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Michael? Yes. So we're Westmount. Westmount should have the best of the best. And in fact, we have far less than the best. There are other communities that have less dollars and yet they have great facilities. So there are other cities that have pools, indoor pools, and we don't, and I would find out why. The economics of it, apparently there was a study done by the city of Westmount for a pool for us. I haven't seen it, and somebody said they tried to get it from the city, they weren't able to, but I'm in favor of an indoor pool. Where exactly it should be, I mentioned even before, maybe it should be on the southeast, but we would look at that. We should also have a gym. We should also have indoor tennis. People can play tennis overnight, in the winter, and we should have a lot of things, and other cities do on less dollars. So I'm committed to looking into that. We should have the best facilities in Westmount. We have the highest priced homes. We pay a lot of taxes, so we should be able to afford to have the best.
Thank you, Michael. I'm glad you didn't mention pickleball. That's just me.
We have new pickleball courts.
Great.
So a pool, absolutely we need a pool. I'd love to have a pool. Pool is vital in any community from every stage of life. So the reality is we're a built city and land is sparse. Available land is sparse. So the best opportunity, I believe, would be in the southeast sector. We own the Tupper lots. We've also given bonus zoning for a community good give back. A pool would meet those requirements. So when the PPU moves forward and the next council can onboard some great projects, a pool would be wonderful. It is true. We cannot afford a pool by ourselves. That is not possible. We need partnerships with the Ville de Montréal, and as your mayor, I'd be very open for business to make that happen.
Thank you.
Glenn Grossman, District 5.
I'm sorry, your name?
Glenn Grossman, District 5. This is a question for all the candidates.
Please speak up, we can't hear you.
It's a question for all the candidates. It's based on an article that Peter Track wrote in the Gazette, October 1st. We've spoken about spending and the need for a pool.
Well, you've got to get closer to the mic.
I'd like to...
There's seniors here also, so, we just need to speak up.
I'd like to understand how we're going to cut the payroll based on the fact that our growth in Westmount has not been that great. It seems that our salaries for the municipal workers and salaries for the representatives have gone up exponentially. So what are you as candidates going to do to save costs so that we can afford some of the things that you're talking about?
Thank you, Glenn. Okay, this time we'll go from right to left. Mary Michael Lynn.
I'd just like to remind everybody that we've talked a lot about these numbers. These are people. These are human beings that work for our city and serve all of us. I have worked with them, I know them, and I value what they do for our city. And I'd also like to remind people who've read this Peter Trent article that 2017 is very different than today. So 2017, there was auxiliary employees that we now needed to make full-time. It's part of the union contract. We were also became aware of different departments that were extremely understaffed. Communications, there was one person. IT, there was one person. And when we had the cyber attack in 2023, it became very apparent that we needed more people and we needed to get better prepared. People want more maintenance in the park. We had to add some bodies. Engineering, same thing. So 2017, you can't compare. We've had the pandemic, and now the world has changed. Things are more expensive. Remuneration, attracting and retaining talent is a challenge. And we want to attract the best, and we've built the best team, and I'm committed to making sure that we have the right people in the right place to do all the services that we all expect every single day. May I add one thing?
Sure.
I'd like to quote Peter Trent from his book in 2012 called The Merger Delusion. He actually said, after demerger, municipalities will compete with each other in attracting skilled labor, staff, and municipal staff, engineers, urban planners, IT, public works. That competition will drive up salaries, benefits, retention bonus, and hiring costs, especially in specialized roles. Funny how Peter Trent has been criticizing our administration on the past, and with regard to rising expenses, he chooses to forget what he warned us about over 10 years ago.
Thank you. Michael.
Yes, first of all, I'm an accountant. I spend my whole life looking at financial statements and budgets. I've worked with clients on thousands of budgets. I know how to save money, and I will go through every line item. But dealing specifically with the employees, the study that Peter Trent had done says that over a number of years we've decreased population-wise 3%, and yet the number of employees are up 25%, and the payroll dollars is up 55%. The city of TMR, which is similar in size to us, 21,000 people, has 230 employees. We have 352. One thing that's a bit different, we have our own hydro, which maybe is 30 people. Anyway, it seems that we have 100 more people than the city of TMR. I take the opinion these people are all good and hardworking, but they have to be mobilized. Like if we have excess people, let's use these people now to do a lot more work. We should have everything should be in tip-top shape. The maintenance should be done. I think maybe they just need more leadership, guidance, better management, and maybe even some support. If we have these extra people, which it looks like we do, let's mobilize them to improve our city as fast as possible.
Thank you, Michael.
In a recent article in La Presse nous dit que la ville de Westmount est une des villes qui est parmi le palmarès des villes les plus dépensières. Donc, clairement, les chiffres dont nous parlons aujourd'hui ne sont pas des chiffres qui n'existent pas, ce sont des chiffres réels qui démontrent les dépenses de la ville de Westmount qui ont été faites et qui ne devraient pas avoir été faites. Merci.
Yes, sir. Name and district, please.
Bonsoir, Frédéric, District 5. On parle d'ingénieurs, d'avocats, de comptables, commerçants, des gens qui jouent un rôle essentiel dans notre société, dans notre communauté ici. Mais quelle place vous voyez pour la culture et les gens qui travaillent dans l'industrie culturelle, dans la gestion et la planification de Westmount? Là, je ne parle pas juste des shows ici au Victoria Hall.
Pour tous les candidats?
Pour tout le monde.
Alors, merci pour votre question. Oui, je crois que nous devons impliquer beaucoup plus de gens de Westmount dans à peu près toutes les activités de la ville. Non seulement des architectes et des ingénieurs, mais aussi des artistes. Et d'ailleurs, si nous pouvions créer un comité de ce genre, un comité d'artistes, il y aurait énormément d'artistes avec beaucoup d'expérience et beaucoup de connaissances qui pourraient nous informer et nous aider à aller plus loin dans ce que nous faisons ici. Je pense qu'il y a une culture énorme pour l'art à Westmount. On en voit d'ailleurs beaucoup, mais il y a de la place pour encore plus. Merci pour votre question encore une fois.
Merci. Michael?
Je suis d'accord avec vous. C'est une bonne idée d'engager des gens ici pour nous aider. Et je pense que c'est assez facile de trouver des gens intéressés qui vont donner leur temps sans frais pour nous aider à améliorer notre culture. Merci.
Thank you, Michael. Mary?
La culture est très importante ici à Westmount, surtout à Victoria Hall, mais aussi à la bibliothèque, la centre récréatif. On a énormément d'activités partout dans la ville. Mais la culture, pour nous, notre ville, je veux que ça s'améliore. Je me sens qu'on se sent divisé, on est fâché, on est fatigué, et on veut je veux reprendre la fierté dans notre ville, et pour que tout le monde participe comme ça ce soir, c'est incroyable de vous voir ici, et de parler à nous et écouter nos idées. Alors, c'est à améliorer toujours, mais aussi apprécier de ce qu'on a déjà.
Merci, Mary.
Yes, hi. Eric from District 6, which still happens to be in your district, Mary. You mentioned in your opening statement about the heritage properties and making sure that they continue thriving. We have one property in your district particularly on the corner of Metcalfe and Melbourne, 376 Metcalfe, that has been completely abandoned for the last 7 years under your watch as well. I'm not saying that you were there the entire 7 years as district councillor. My question is directed towards you and open to Michael and Lynn to comment on it as well as to what you are going to be doing, tangible response as to what you're going to be doing into preserving this heritage property that's been neglected for all these years.
Great question. I agree. It is awful. We have several abandoned and derelict buildings on the territory. They are private property. So our council has tried, and we've pushed urban planning and our lawyers to do more. In that case, it's actually in the courts. So it is out of our hands, but we've hired lawyers to make them move forward and clean up their home and put the money back in to restore it the way it should be. It is very difficult on private property with our bylaws as they are. So we need to upgrade those bylaws and get more teeth so we can encourage and enforce the owners of these buildings to take care of their property. But I'm with you, it's been a long time, and I know the neighbor, I've talked to her, and it's been too long. But we're working on it, and it's in the courts.
Thank you, Mary. Michael?
Yeah, I know about that house, and I heard that the city is taking a lawsuit against them. There's also a half a block away, there's another house that's attached to a bunch of others that was purchased by somebody who's completely neglected, pipes breaking inside. It's completely unacceptable. It would appear that we do not have adequate bylaws to protect us, and we should, and that should be done. The other thing is that I'm concerned about is that somebody buys a house and gets a permit to completely renovate. Let's say they get a permit with a time frame of 18 months. After the 18 months, they should get very hefty daily fines. I'm not sure that's always being adhered to, and that's very important.
Thank you, Michael.
I would agree with Michael that our bylaws, and Mary, that our bylaws need to be upgraded. And certainly we have the tools we have the fact that we can actually apply a 1 to 3% tax on unoccupied and abandoned building and land. So let's look at our bylaws and let's make sure they're updated. Thank you.
Just a comment, if you could not only make your questions tighter, but if you can address them to one candidate, we may get through everybody's questions, but if they're always to all the candidates, we're not going to, so don't get upset. It's like we have to cut it off. You guys are terrific. You've been under 90 seconds of your responses on all of them. That's never happened. Yes, sir.
Bonjour tout le monde. Je m'appelle Philip Greenberg. Je suis résident de Westmount depuis 1947. Sauf à peu près 4 ans. Alors, j'ai une question seulement, et seulement pour Madame Gallery. Et je vais le poser comme ça. Je vais le poser en anglais, si j'ai le droit, parce que j'ai compris au début qu'on a le droit de poser des questions seulement en français. C'est OK. Alors, mais je vais le poser. Est-ce que j'ai le droit de poser en anglais?
Absolument.
OK. Merci beaucoup. Madame Gallery, vous faites partie... Oh.
It's automatic, Phil. It's automatic. It's not good.
I can't help it. You were part of the Westmount administration for the last number of years. Why have I never heard from you on any of the following issues which you promised to rectify? For instance, transparency and listening to residents. Lexington Avenue, before the work on Lexington Avenue started, there was a consultation online. I listened to it. And the residents of Lexington Avenue were clear. They did not want the work done. Notwithstanding that, not only was the work done subsequent, but I understood that the contract was given even before the consultation took place. Number 2 issue...
Philip, we're not going to be able to get through 3 questions.
I'm sorry, this is one question why I didn't hear from Miss Gallery on any of the issues that she's promising to
Philip, I understand that, but the rules were one question.
That's all why we didn't hear. I'm not asking for answers to any of the questions. I'm asking the answers for only one question, why we didn't hear from her.
You're very charming. Thank you so much. We will get to the answers now.
Mary?
I'm sorry, I don't think I ever got an email or a phone call from you, so I apologize. But regarding the consultations, I'd like to acknowledge that I respond to my residents, and the Lexington project was District 1, and it's a different councillor up there. But furthermore, we tried to consult the residents up there, and we did consult them. In past administrations, no one was ever consulted about road reconstructions or redesigns. There was a tremendous opportunity up there, and one of the biggest challenges is capturing water before it comes down the hill. Our sewers at the bottom of the hill are near collapse. So every time we do a road reconstruction, we need to add greenery and bioretention to absorb water. So there were changes made that I know and I understand some residents didn't like. We also have rules about roads in 2025 with safety and standards that we must apply. So I'm very sorry that you didn't hear from me, but I know the city had the best of intentions to deliver a great project.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Phil. Read us here.
Hi, Tim Anderson from District 2. I can only say since 1970, so as a Westmount resident. I'm going to try and follow the rules, so the question is to Mary, but I'd also like to see if Michael and Lynn would like to add some comments. We've talked a lot about everybody loves our infrastructure, from Victoria Hall to the renovations we've seen in the parks with the new playgrounds. You had spoke about having a plan that is already in existence. Could you please elaborate a bit more on what the priorities for, as you see going forward? You've talked about doing the roofs on City Hall, but what are the next priorities that you see? And then I'd like to, after you've elaborated on that, I'd like to see if Michael or Lynn have anything that they agree or disagree with on those priorities.
Thank you. So with that small amount of money we have to address infrastructure, often the engineering department is the one that's telling us what's urgent, which sewer is about to collapse. So that often defines the priority of a road reconstruction or a road rebuild. What we know going forward for sure is Boulevard. We've started the planning process. The next council will be moving that forward. And we know that's going to take 3 years to implement. It's a long and complicated project. So we have that for sure is coming. We need to invest in our technologies. That's a priority I'd like to do. And of course in our parks. There's 2 splash pads that are not working. It's unacceptable in Murray Hill and Westmount Park. I'd like to prioritize those things and renovate our sports equipment that we already have. So there's no shortage of work ahead of us. And the garages we know in Public Works are near collapse. We have 5 of them. And they are not okay, and they will require a lot of money and attention over the next few years.
Thank you, Mary. Michael?
That doesn't sound like a complete plan. There is a capital budget plan for 25, 26, 27, which provides for some $100 million of work, and including that to be financed in part from current and past savings, let's say, and to borrow $78 million. By the way, we borrowed a good chunk of that $78 million, and resolutions were passed, but we still have no idea what the interest rate is, or what the terms of repayment is, or if there's any security or any social. But that's another issue. But I can't really comment on what should be done first, second, whatever, because until you see a complete plan, as I talked about, an assessment of everything to be done, and then it should be prioritized. You see different things. We see that the boulevard is not being done immediately. Maybe it's complicated. In part, I'm told it's because people outside Westmount are using the boulevard, but that shouldn't really be a factor for us. What really matters is who in Westmount uses it. The boulevard is used by a large number of Westmounters. That should be a high priority item. So I can't comment on the priorities until I see a complete list, which I would see very soon.
Thank you,
And I agree with Michael that we don't have a complete management assessment plan, municipal assets management plan, and until we have a complete one, we can't really know. So we don't know it's the boulevard and it's going to take 3 years or it's going to take less. Look at Claremont, that was just been rebuilt from Notre-Dame-de-Grâce all the way down to where? To Lorraine, not down to Sherbrooke. So why? That's bad planning. That's a lack of synergy. If you're going to block Claremont, then you should block it once, not twice. If you're going to dig it, you should dig once, not twice. So until we have a municipal asset management plan that is complete, then we really don't know what we're doing. That's the problem.
May I just add something, Phil? I'd just like to remind residents, we absolutely do have a 3-year priority plan. We know exactly where and what the urgent needs are in all our 8 districts and in all our 26 buildings. So please, I'm sorry, it's just I can't accept
Nobody
it.
else knows, but
It's on our website. It's on our website.
Okay. Oui, monsieur.
Bonsoir, Lucien Savard de Bleu Clermont. Je suis venu ce soir ici pour décider lequel d'entre vous a une vision. Et lequel d'entre vous a une vision. Et lequel d'entre vous fait preuve du leadership nécessaire pour mettre en place votre vision. Les politiciens nous disent depuis quelques élections ce qu'ils vont faire dans les 100 premiers jours. C'est ma question. Quelles seront vos priorités pour les 100 premiers jours de l'exercice de vos fonctions comme maire ou mairesse?
5 jours. OK. Bon, let's mix it up. Commencez avec les priorités dans les premiers 5 jours.
Translation into English, 100 bids. I don't speak Spanish.
So it's like
I can't hear you. What is it?
les priorités des premiers 100 jours de votre administration.
Les premiers 100 jours.
100 jours.
100 jours.
100.
D'accord.
Oui.
La première.
Have we got it, Glenn? Yes? Good.
La première priorité, c'est bien sûr s'assurer que nous ayons un système de gestion des actifs municipaux qui est complet. Sans ça, il est très difficile de savoir où on s'en va. Je comprends qu'il y en a un, mais il est incomplet. C'est certain qu'il y a des choses qui ne sont pas faites. Alors, ça, c'est la première chose. La deuxième chose, c'est de consulter les résidents et de concerter à savoir quel comité nous avons besoin. Nous avons besoin d'un comité sur la culture, nous avons besoin d'un comité sur les priorités municipales que nous devons aborder. Nous avons besoin de savoir et de consulter les résidents pour chaque secteur et de consulter aussi nos conseillers municipaux qui eux-mêmes connaissent très très bien leur secteur et ensemble nous allons déterminer les 100 prochains jours qui viendront. Seul, ça ne suffit pas, nous devons faire ça ensemble. Merci.
Merci, Liz. Michael.
Il faut avoir les plans pour la première année et pour les 3 ans qui suivent. La première chose, il faut faire les plans et faire le budget en conséquence. La date limite pour faire le budget, c'est le 31 janvier pour la nouvelle administration. J'ai déjà promis de faire quelque chose de début comme la collecte des ordures, de le faire tout de suite. Mais le plus important pour moi, c'est de rencontrer la directrice générale et tous les chefs de chaque groupe, chaque équipe, pour comprendre ce que je veux faire. Ça veut dire changer la culture pour être en mesure de donner meilleur service aux résidents de Westmount. Ça, c'est le plus important. Et après, faire une liste spécifique, qu'est-ce qu'on doit faire pour la première année et après pour les 3 ans. Réparation et remplacement pour l'infrastructure aussi.
Merci, Michael.
Thank you. So first, I get rid of the pay-as-you-go law. Secondly, I would pave more, give different directions on how to do more streets quicker and faster. Communication and consultation, I would make sure everything's in place with our assistance line, that every Westmount resident understands that you can reach someone at City Hall with a phone number and an email, and you will be responded to and you will get a human voice. Technology, I will start moving forward so we can be a smart city and a leader and find the AI tools that make us better. And lastly, I want to bring back the Westmount pride that I believe is so important that I feel is lost, and I think I'm the only candidate here who can do that. And I'd like to also acknowledge the 21 candidates that are running for council. Those who are not at the table, I want to bring you in and see how we can keep you engaged with our city. It's just fabulous how many great voices are out there coming forward.
Merci, Mary. On va essayer les instructions encore. Des questions courtes, claires et ciblées si possible.
Hi, my name is Mark Scheffner, District 2. My wife and I have 3 young kids, and for each of the last 7 years, we've had kids in diapers. We've never had an issue storing our used diapers until we've switched to bi-weekly garbage collection. We store our bins outside, and the raccoons and squirrels have eaten through 3 of them. Councillor Matt Aronson has been very vocal on the issue in the Everything Westmount Facebook group. His suggestions, and I'm quoting this directly, are that families should keep their used diapers in the freezer between pickups and switch to cloth diapers. He also proposed hiring park wardens to monitor garbage in parks because of the rising illegal dumping.
It's got to be a question.
So here's my question. So these are ideas from current councillors. Do you feel they're reasonable solutions for young families?
Is it for anyone or for anyone in particular?
For Mary.
For Mary?
question? Like the final one?
Something to do with diapers.
Are they reasonable solutions for young families?
The diaper solution?
It's related to bi-weekly garbage.
No, this is a good thing. It means everything else is resolved. If we're down to diapers, everything else is resolved.
Okay, you'll let me, I'd be very happy to talk about garbage. So I know this is a hot button issue for some of our residents, but here are the facts. Some candidates are making promises about garbage collection that they actually cannot deliver. Before sharing big statements, they should at least understand the rules that the city must follow. We have a contract. And not only that, the CMM has just come forward and announcing that every municipality will be required to move to bi-weekly garbage pickups, so 26 pickups by the end of 2027. So no one person can change a contract or renegotiate a contract. It requires the majority of council, and it will come with significant financial penalties. So we don't know what those penalties are, and we also don't know what it will cost to renegotiate to go back to every week garbage. I truly believe as a community and as a society, we need to be a leader on this. We need to adapt. I am willing to help and support and educate the community. I believe I can find a location for you to drop off your garbage the week that there is no garbage. So when you do have excess or your diapers, I understand you want to get it out of the house and it's hard. So I do think there's a solution, but we are going in this direction whether we like it or not. And I believe we're easing into what's coming, and we know this is happening in every other municipality across Canada. So I understand the issue, and I feel for you, and I just hope we can do better. And just we have the data saying in the last year that the landfill, we're 9% less to the landfill, 11% increase in composting. We've had 77 fewer complaints, and 3 tons of carbon emissions saved. We are moving in the right direction. So,
thank you, Mary. Name and district.
Bonsoir, je m'appelle Annie Gilcoeur.
Hold on.
Garbage.
Mayoral. Yes. Garbage.
Garbage. Can I answer?
I just want an answer to Mary. You want to talk about garbage? Sure. Was it diaper? Go ahead.
I'll talk about garbage. So to me, it's a very simple solution. We're Westmount. We're not telling people to freeze diapers. We're not telling people to bring their garbage somewhere. We're going to go back on day one to collect garbage every week. Don't worry about contracts. I've negotiated a lot of contracts, and we're not taking away anything from them. We call them up and say, we want to give you more business and we want a good price. You're going to now pick up the garbage every week. And if you don't help us, I'm going to find another company to do it, and you're going to lose your chance to get the job next time.
Thank you, Michael.
I'd like to know if we're going to find a location now for you to dump your diapers. Why didn't we find it before, and why didn't we speak to people before? We need to speak to them. We need to hear them.
I think the conclusion of this is there is a business opportunity here, people.
Bonsoir.
Oui,
Je m'appelle Annie Gilcoeur, je suis dans le district 5. J'habite à Westmount depuis à peu près plus de 20 ans. J'ai 4 adolescents, 21, 19, 17 et 15. On ne produit pas de déchets, ou presque pas. Ce que je ne comprends pas, c'est que les citoyens produisent environ 720 kg de déchets par année par personne. La Ville de Montréal et le Québec au complet passent à des collectes diminuées. Mais j'aimerais poser la question suivante à M. Stern. Pourquoi Westmount, l'ONU a dit qu'on avait un problème avec nos déchets? On parle du monde entier. Je suis préoccupée, j'ai des enfants. Pourquoi Westmount serait la seule ville...
Ça, c'est la question.
La question, c'est pourquoi Westmount serait la seule ville à reculer sur la gestion des matières résiduelles?
Parfait.
Parce que c'est ça que les gens veulent. Et en même temps, on va continuer à éduquer nos gens de faire plus de composting et plus de recyclage. Peut-être à un moment donné, ça sera OK de ramasser les odeurs chaque 2 semaines. Mais pour le moment, ce n'est pas bon pour nos gens. Et nous représentons les gens de Westmount. Il y a tellement de plaintes et on va retourner à collecte d'ordures chaque semaine.
Merci, Michael. C'est tout. Oui, monsieur. Non, mais question.
Yes, hi. My name is William Vittorio Bernard, and
I can't wait. Every time I start with French, it's in somebody's English, and then English and French.
I'm from District 4. I have a specific question about increased security presence, and it's to Mr. Stern and Ms. Yes, yes. Westmount has seen an increase in all sorts of crime since 4 years ago. Mr. Stern, you talk about car thefts from in Upper Westmount especially, but in Lower Westmount as well, there has been an increase in petty crime like pickpocketing and other types of harassment and stuff like this. My question for both of you is that both of you have increased security presence in your platforms. I would like to know if you have any specific numbers associated with them, as in by what number will you
Okay, so the question is of numbers. You want numbers
Yes,
for
numbers
Michael and for Mary?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Mary? Michael,
for
go.
me, so we don't have access to that information, and I don't think Mary has that either. But the first thing I would do is find out what is our protocol. How often are we out there? And I would compare with other cities. I'm told that there are a couple of other cities that have had problems like us, and the problems that are mitigated have been reduced a lot. So what are they doing? And, you know, I happened to be at the police station the other day on Stanton, and there were 9 vehicles I counted, police and public security. I know if the cars are there, that means the officers are inside. They're not helping us on the inside. There's nothing to do there. There's a jail, but there's no people there. They should be out on the street. So it's possible that we're not rigorous enough in doing our patrols. We're not having people out on the street enough. And the other thing, as I said, I would add, is where a lot of problems occur is on the busy places where there are stores. So I have police and public security on foot and on bicycle where the stores are, on Victoria, Green Avenue, and Sherbrooke, and that would go a long way to help things.
Thank you, Michael.
I would look at also at best practices elsewhere, because other cities have similar issues. So looking at best practices is always one of the best way to save money, because you don't reinvent the wheel. That's right.
Sorry, my question was for Ms. Gallery and Mr. Stern.
We have a lot of questions, we have to move on.
I understand.
It's done. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, if you can talk to them after. You guys, you have access to these people. This is not just about asking questions, okay?
Okay, now, gotta get to her time. Yes.
Hi, my name is Carolina. I'm a resident of District 3, and this is a question for the entire panel. Sorry. So Summit Woods has long been a model of shared community use, where residents, dog owners, and nature can coexist responsibly. I myself went daily with my dog Rio before she passed. It was an integral part of our daily life as dog owners. Yet ongoing pressure from a few individuals continues to threaten the off-leash policy that so many residents support. As mayor, how would you ensure that the decision-making around Summit Woods reflects the will of the broader community rather than a small local minority? And if some of your campaign's key supporters happen to be among those opposing off-leash access, how will you manage that while maintaining transparency and fairness in your leadership?
It was one question, but it was long, but okay. Who wants this first? She wants it all.
I'll go first. So thank you for the question. So we have had this balance up in our precious Summit Woods for over 40 years. I have a dog. I love walking my dog up there, and I love being up there with my friends and their dogs. It is a wonderful, precious part of our city, and it's definitely, we've struck a balance for a shared community. So we have, it changes in the season, it changes every day with dogs on leash and off leash. And as long as everybody does their bit and respects the rules and has their tags, I believe it can work, and it should work, and I want it to work. So I am committed to keeping the status quo, and I don't foresee more opposition on this. We've been through it, and I think we found the right balance.
seem to think that we have a balance that is good from what I've seen from a lot of people that I've spoken to. And it seems to work as long as it's patrolled and there's public security there from time to time to make sure that dogs have their permit. And whether they're from Westmount or outside Westmount, they still have to be licensed accordingly. And it seems to work. I also had said that I want to consult people on a regular basis by doing surveys on different topics. At some point, we may want to survey people and see if that should change based on what the general population says.
Thank you, Michael.
And so I would agree with this, that we need to consult people, and do we need to have an eco-evaluation of the balance that we have? The last time we had an evaluation was about 30 years ago. So is there a reason? But otherwise, apart from that, there's no reason to change anything at this point. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Yes.
Diana Bruno, District 3. And I feel that the woman on the other side has kind of preempted my question. She's kind of stolen my thunder, but I will proceed nonetheless.
Well, briefly. Or more briefly.
As soon as I can open up this business. So my question, can you hear me, everyone?
Get closer to the mic.
Okay. My question is for all three candidates. First of all, I'd like to thank each and every one of the candidates for running. In today's world, what you are doing is no small feat. Chapeau. My question is about Summit Woods, but it's broader than what the other questioner asked. The fact is that Summit Woods is a victim of its own success.
We've got to get to a question here.
Getting there very fast?
Thank you.
Bear with me. Summit Woods is two things. First of all, it is a living forest in Westmount that is home to all kinds of life. But it is also a public space that attracts lots. I'm almost done. Bear with me,
You got
please.
5 seconds.
That attracts lots of people and lots of people with dogs. The question, as Westmount's next mayor, how would you address the situation on Summit Woods specifically? What would you do to preserve, protect, and maintain Summit Woods to keep it safe for all species?
Okay, but
those on 2 legs, 4 legs, or 4 legs,
It's the same
those with
question,
wings.
and I'm sorry, it's the same question as before. And you had a minute to start. Yes, ma'am.
Elisa Sklar, District 1. I wanted to ask, I wanted to know from all of the candidates, actually, what can be done in terms of transparency and accountability for the people who serve on the council. I've had to find out through digging that the councillor that has represented District 1 for the last 4 years has attended virtually none of the committee meetings and only 80% of council meetings. And I feel like as voters, we should have some sense of what our representation actually looks like in practice.
Need a question for you.
My question is, what can be done in terms of transparency and accountability just to keep us informed about people?
Raise your hands who wants this one first. So, Michael?
So, one problem that we've had in the past is that the councillors have not been given the responsibility they should. Under the democratic process, they're your elected councillors, and they should have a lot more authority in terms of being able to speak to employees, senior employees, over the matters for which they are responsible. In other words, after the election, the mayor, in conjunction with the 8 council people, determine which one will take which portfolio. If there's one that's an architect, for example, may take the roads and infrastructure as their responsibility, and that person should be able to speak to the roads department head or the urban planning, and that's not the case now. I'm going to empower the councillors much more than in the past so that they could do the work for the people. And the second thing, you talk about transparency, I said I was going to approve is that when contracts are voted on in council meetings in front of everyone, there should be more description as to why the particular vendor was chosen and what are we doing this for.
Thank you, Michael.
We need a lot more transparency, and we need to make sure that people are aware of what our decisions are. Do you know that on the council, on the website for the council, when you look at the questions, you have all the questions, but you don't have any of the answers. When you go look at the City of Côte-Saint-Luc, you have the questions and the answers. Why do we not have the answers? I think I want to know the answers.
So, on accountability, I just want to let you know that I'm someone that shows up. So I think you've all seen me almost everywhere in our community. So I think one, it's like helping and see who shows up. Two, of course, we need a more responsive city hall. We'll make sure we get back to you and you get the information you need. And lastly, I think we could have maybe a report card, data card, and see who's showing up where and when, and we'll get back to you. So thank you.
Thank you. Folks, these have to be the last two questions. They're really fast. Maybe we can squeeze in another one because we're fighting the clock. So, yes.
Peter Hall, District 1, since 1949. Great audience, great participation. They care, we care to get the best mayor. My question is, imagine it's 2029 October, and we're at the next conference where 200 people show up to listen to the mayors. As mayor for the next 4 years, what is your one biggest contribution to the administration and improvement of Westmount? Thank you for your commitment.
So my biggest achievement is going to be that we actually have a municipal asset management program that is complete, that evaluates not just all the assets, but also all the services. That's what it's going to be.
Merci, Lynn. Anything else want to look at the future?
Sure. I'd love us all to look back, and I'd like a community where we all feel safe, where the protests are no longer, where the streets and roads are better, and where we all are much more proud to call this place home.
Thank you.
I would like to see a time, and that's what I expect to see after 4 years, and well before that, where the city is well run, that people are responsive, that people are happy to go talk to the city because they're going to get a friendly person to talk to them and respond to them on a quick basis, and that our infrastructure looks second to none, and our parks are up to date, and we have some new great facilities.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you for your commitment to democracy.
Good. Okay. If it's short and quick, we might get another question to the other side. Yes, ma'am. But no.
Dr. Reinhold, District 8. I know we're short of time, so I'll be very brief, but I followed all of your campaigns and some debates with interest. I hear a lot about listening to the residents. I hear about transparency and integrity. I'll direct this question specifically to Mary and Valerie. I'm happy for others to chime in the interest of time. And what I would like to say is that with respect to transparency and integrity, there were two very important city-wide consultations meetings held regarding the PPU, at which time, twice, and then later on in council multiple times, misleading and false information.
Doctor, sorry, you got to get a question.
Is coming. Misleading and false information regarding the density requirements were presented. How can we trust you to bring integrity and credibility to the mayor's office with that?
Okay. Who wants to start this one?
Well, I think it's to me. So, first of all, I've never lied or misrepresented anything. So I'm sorry you feel that way.
We had the discussion.
I'm sorry. It is false.
Misleading and false.
Anybody else? Okay, just you. Last question, right there.
My name is Peter Stern. I'm in District 8. I've been there for 50 years. I have two brief, unrelated questions. One,
How about combining into one quick question?
Well, the first one concerns the sound barrier along the railway. What is your position on that? The second concerns the playground in Mayoral Park. Do you have plans to have that renewed like the one in Westmount or the Westmount Park?
Okay. Sound barrier and playground in Murray.
What was the question? I
What
don't
do you
think
want
we
to do
got
about
it.
it? How do you want it? What do you want to do about it? Where are you? It's a sound barrier at the playground.
Both of them.
What?
Which playground?
All three. All three?
Yes.
A sound barrier, so I know what they're talking about, and we have a lawsuit, we dropped the lawsuit because apparently, according to the experts who did sound tests, the number of decibels didn't increase by it may have increased, but by an acceptable amount. Anyway, I was on Prospect walking around, and it sounds very loud, so to me, I would reopen that. It's very unpleasant noise. There's got to be something to be done, and I'm sure we can get the government to help us, the Quebec government to help us. Thank you, Michael.
I would agree with that, and I would say that there has to be more than that argument. Why do they have a sound barrier in Lachine? Why don't they have one on Prospect? And I would also contact the Ministère des Transports du Québec, because that's with that ministry that you need to determine a sound barrier for Prospect.
I'd just like to add on your comments on parks. I commit to investing and bringing up to our standards all the parks and as much as we can across the territory.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you all for your questions. We're going to go to closing statements now. We started the opening right to left, we'll go left to right of the closing statements. Each candidate has 4 minutes. Please give them your respective attention. Commençons avec Lynn Casgrain.
So I will be brief. It is my belief that I'm best able to provide an administration which is open and sensitive to what citizens want on such issues as security and taxes. We shall be frugal and avoid extravagant spending. Spending is not always bad, but it must be reflected in the services. We have not seen it in the services at this point. A Casgrain administration will not pass a massive, wrong-headed, unpopular project in a last-minute meeting. It will work with Montreal. It will work with Montreal Quebec authorities to ensure public safety. It will consult with those affected so as to minimize disruption from repairs and public works. It will cooperate with public and non-profit organizations to reduce homelessness and poverty. In recent years, Westmounters have been alienated from City Hall. It is time for a new start, a new spirit. Hopefully, this is what we're going to do together. I'm going to consult you, and we're going to do all of this together. Thank you.
Michael Stern.
This debate has shown that people deeply care about our city, about its beauty, its safety, its services, and its future. Now that we've heard many ideas, some good, some less practical, but what matters most is action, because talk is easy, results are harder. Et moi, je crois profondément que les paroles doivent se transformer en actions concrètes pour améliorer la vie de nos citoyens. Over the last few years, Westmount has lost a bit of its shine. Our infrastructure is crumbling. Services have slipped, and there's too little transparency and accountability. But I don't see decline, I see opportunity. An opportunity to make Westmount, once again, the envy of every city in Quebec. To do that, we need a mayor who will listen, lead, and deliver. Someone who understands finances, who knows how to manage organizations, build strong teams, and get results. That's what I've done for almost 5 decades, as a partner at Ernst & Young, as a chief financial officer, as a board member, and as president of community organizations. Always asking tough questions, finding solutions, and getting things done. Je ne suis pas un politicien de carrière, et honnêtement, je pense que c'est un avantage, because politics I know often has a philosophy, we can't do things differently than we've done in the past. But I say, if it's good for residents, let's find a way to make it happen. Throughout this campaign, I've met many residents who love the city, but many are frustrated by long waits, by closed doors, by feeling that no one's listening. That ends now. Together we can build a culture of service, where every city employee, every councillor, every decision starts with one question: what can we do to make the lives of our residents better? Je crois un Westmount moderne, efficace, sécuritaire et accueillant. Un Westmount où les familles s'épanouissent, où les aînés se sentent en sécurité et où les entreprises locales prospèrent. A city that works for everyone. We can fix our infrastructure. We can improve our roads and our parks and our recreation. We can restore safety and accountability, and we can do it together with professionalism, respect, and pride in who we are. Westmount deserves a mayor who can bring people together, who listens, leads, and who delivers. C'est le moment d'agir, le moment de tourner la page et de bâtir un avenir dont nous serons fiers. I'm ready to serve. I'm ready to lead. And with your trust, I'm ready to deliver for the people of Westmount. Let's do this together.
Thank you, Michael. Mary Gallagher.
I wish to thank my colleagues for a spirited debate and the moderator Beryl for keeping us in line, and for all of you being here tonight. Running a city is not about slogans or empty promises. It's about results. Municipal government is both extremely complex and inherently personal. Every decision touches the infrastructure, housing, safety, and climate that shapes residents' quality of life, and each leaves a financial footprint. We face competing priorities and a finite budget, underscoring the need for strategic planning and authentic collaboration. Aucun de mes adversaires n'est en mesure d'améliorer la vie des Westmountais. L'un veut ajouter des couches de processus et de procédures, confondant la bureaucratie avec la transparence. L'autre veut gérer Westmount comme une entreprise, où l'attention est accordée aux clients les plus rentables. Mais Westmount n'est pas une entreprise, c'est une communauté. Nous mesurons la valeur par la participation et la qualité de vie, non par le profit. I am the only candidate ready from day one, ready to keep rebuilding our infrastructure, revitalizing the Southeast, protecting our green spaces, and who will work effectively and collaboratively with Montreal, where more than half of our tax dollars go. I am here because I love our city, every street, every park, and every neighbor who calls it home. I've spent my life and the last 8 years learning how City Hall works and how to turn constraints into results. That's what leadership looks like. Westmount deserves a mayor who shows up, and I've shown up. It is a privilege to serve, but make no mistake, it's an up and down, every day, 365-day-a-year job to serve our entire community. I pledge to be a mayor who listens, decides, and delivers. A mayor who leads with integrity, compassion, and respect. And that is the kind of leadership I offer. That is the kind of leadership Westmount deserves. So tonight, I ask you for your trust, your confidence, and your vote for the future of Westmount. Together, we will protect what we cherish, rebuild what's broken, and move this city forward with purpose and, most importantly, with heart. Thank you.
Thank you. Et voilà, merci à tout le monde. Je félicite tout le Westmount pour avoir un salle plein et je félicite tous les candidats for handling questions from violence. Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody. Have a safe way home.
Those of you who have business cards, please drop them in the clear plastic box at the entrance. Thank you.
Et aussi, bonne soirée tout le monde. C'était un plaisir.
I didn't know you were also active.
should have joined the WMA.